Was this nose highlight probably too much? Yeah. Hello friends, welcome to a new video. I just realized my hair is still up. Allow me to fix. Oh, it's not even dry from my shower last night. Just look straggly now. So, February is Black History Month, which is a month where a lot of people spotlight different books they're gonna read by Black authors and different Black narratives. I want to participate because I have a lot of books on my TBR that are from Black authors, and I feel like I don't ever prioritize them. Obviously not in an ill-meaning way, but I mean, some of these I've had on my shelf for a while with no real incentive to pick them up. Why not pick them up during a month that's supposed to showcase these voices in order to inspire me to read them sooner than I probably would have if I was just reading whatever I wanted to. So February's TBR is going to be heavily inspired by some Black authors, either Black main characters or a commentary on Blackness in America or around the world. I also have some books I'm currently reading that I want to mention even though they're not particularly Black History Month focused, so I'll get into those first. It is literally like 80 degrees today in February in Texas. This is reminding me of filming at my old house when it was like 90 degrees in my room, patting my sweat in between takes. So this isn't highlighter, it's sweat. The first book I've been currently reading since literally the beginning of the year is Life After Life by Whitney Atkinson. This is a World War II historical fiction book. It follows this woman growing up and then dealing with the war, but the twist is every time this woman dies, she's reborn into her own body. For instance, when she was little and she got a disease that killed her, she didn't just like die and go into the vast void of wherever we all go after we die. She is reborn the day she was born, and by some miraculous feat of history, changing itself just one little degree where she maybe wasn't exposed to that person that gave her the illness, then she survives past the previous point she had died. So this continues to happen, and she builds different awarenesses that like, hey, if you hang around this boy, he's gonna hurt you, then this is gonna do a tumble effect into your life spiraling into a completely different place than it would have normally been. And then in her next life, she'll avoid the things that previously killed her. The more she dies and becomes reborn, the more she's aware that this is happening, to the point where the prologue of this book begins with her killing Hitler. So this is just a take on what would you do if you knew you could live multiple lives and redo things. Like I said, I've been reading this for a while and I'm currently on page 405, so hopefully I'll just knock out these last 90-ish pages. I'm really enjoying it so far. It's just not the fastest paced ever, so it's sometimes hard to pick up. The next book I'm currently reading is a manga I just picked up from Barnes & Noble called 1 Week Friends by Matcha Hazuki. This is a manga about two classmates, and this guy is really infatuated with his female classmate who never really speaks and doesn't have any friends, and one day he tries to befriend her but then finds out that she doesn't make friends because every week her memory resets, and so she forgets all the friends she makes, and so it's just him trying to find a way for them to continue to be friends after this 1 week period. It's very cute, but it's also very average. For a graphic novel, I've been in the middle of this one for a while because it doesn't really call to me to pick it back up, but even though if I did, it'd probably only take me one sitting to finish. So it'll be totally easy to finish within this month. I feel like it's just gonna be really average. And finally, the last book I'm currently reading is Queen of Air and Darkness by Cassandra Clare. This massive behemoth is... I don't have a way to finish that sentence. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of anticipating this would be like a Sarah J Maas book where I only care about two of the characters and so the rest of the book I'm just skimming and I'm bored, but I'm actually really liking this. The one character that I don't really care about isn't there so much, and the way that this book is told is this switches between every character's point of view like little vignettes. So it'll be like 2 pages of these people, 2 pages of these people, 2 pages of these people, and I think it's short enough interspersions that it really keeps my attention going, and even when it goes to a character that I don't care about so much, I'm only there for a couple pages. So I've been listening to this on audiobook and a little bit reading it in person. What's that called? Physically. I just got to part 2 where stuff has hit the fan. It is so good so far. I guess my lasting impression of this is that it is not as boring as I thought it was gonna be for such a huge book. I'm about halfway through. I'm on page 445 out of like 900, but it's a good time. I didn't realize it was gonna be a picture book, so that's been really keeping the attention going. Where's one that's non-spoilery? There's horses, so 5 stars. Okay, now for my TBR that is about Black History Month, which is the point of this video. So I have a stack of books that are all from Black authors or about Black characters. This is a tentative TBR. I don't think I'm going to read all of these this month, but here's just my stack to choose from. We're going to kind of do this readathon style where I show you what I have available and then we'll see what I actually get to. So the first book I have is A Princess in Theory by Alyssa Cole. Alyssa Cole is a Black author who writes a lot of romance, and this is probably her most popular series, I would argue. This book is about an African prince who keeps trying to contact this woman being like, hey, you're betrothed to me. She ignores those emails thinking it's just, you know, spam emails from a prince being like, hello, we are destined to be together. I don't know. But then one day they actually meet and she doesn't realize he's royal. It's almost like a Princess and the Pauper situation where she doesn't know he's royal and then he wants her to be the princess. I'm really not quite sure what's happening in this synopsis, but it is a royal romance with Black characters. I just saw that B posted a picture of one of the scenes from this on Twitter and it made me like... So I'm probably gonna pick this up next just because I'm so excited to read this. Also, one of the books that I know I'm probably going to read this month is one that I have on hold at my library. So as soon as that comes in, we're beginning Becoming by Michelle Obama. My queen, my one true love. This is Michelle's autobiography. This talks about her growing up, going to college, meeting Barack, going into her being the first lady, the first Black first lady, and then after the presidency, what the goings on are. I've heard this book is fantastic. It is narrated by Michelle Obama in the audiobook version, which I am waiting on. I am stoked. I can't wait to read this. I know it's gonna be a 5 stars. I love Michelle Obama and the Obama family so much. I highly anticipate reading this next as soon as it comes in from the library. I'm like the 50th person in line for it, so we'll see if that even comes in this month. I have a couple of nonfiction selections, the first of which being This Will Be My Undoing by Morgan Jerkins. This is a book that's focused on feminism, and it's especially coming at it from the angle of what's it like to be Black in America, which is a white governed and very white centric country. So it's a collection of essays that talk about those intersections of feminism as opposed to, I guess, more white issues that we have. I've read a lot of books on feminism from white women that do discuss intersectionality, but pretty much only as like the last chapter as an afterthought. Like, by the way, all of this is relevant, but we need to think about it from these people as well. Whereas this book is from that angle only, so I think it'll give a lot more of a fleshed out experience of what's it like to be a minority in America that is ruled and geared toward people who aren't a minority. I just really want this to inform my feminism and make me open to new ideas and things that I haven't heard before. So Roxane Gay blurbed this. I love Roxane Gay. And speaking of which, Roxane Gay is a very famous feminist author who is Black. She wrote one of my favorite books of last year, Hunger, which is a memoir about size and body weight, but this is a collection that is about women. This is actually a book of short stories that Roxane Gay penned, and they are all about women who are difficult. I just keep describing this in a way that you could have inferred from the title. I've never read Roxane Gay's fiction before, so I'm really excited to give this a try and see if it matches with her essay writing abilities, because those are amazing. I'm not quite too sure what I'm jumping into here because I don't know if these short stories all intersect or if they're just different stories that talk about women who sort of break gender expectations and societal expectations. But I think this might even be something I could read one story before bed every night and then read it over a span of a week or two. So it should be fun, and I'm excited to read more from Roxane Gay. The final nonfiction book I have is one that's called The Body Is Not an Apology by Sonia Renee Taylor. This is a book about body positivity. Once again, it's from a Black author, so it's from the angle of a diverse perspective and not necessarily from the white beauty standard. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know so much about this book. I just saw the cover and I knew it was a book about body positivity. I'm not sure if this is more of a self-help book on how to feel more confident or if it just talks about the history of what it's like to be judged in America based on your appearance. But this cover by itself is 5 stars. I love the idea of this book and I think this author will have a lot of meaningful stuff to say. So it's going on my TBR stack. Finally, I have 2 fiction books that I would possibly pick up this month for Black History Month. The first is my priority because it's the one that I've owned the longest. It's called Americana by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. This book follows 2 Nigerians who immigrate to other countries. One of them goes to America and one of them goes to London, and it talks about the experience of going from a country in a continent that is very Black to then being an outsider in a white majority country and what that's like for the first time to deal with the prejudice that comes with that. It's post 9/11, so tensions are high and they're just having to learn a lot about what it's like to be an outsider in a world that is not not very forgiving to outsiders at that point in time. Again, I've owned this for years and I really want to get to it soon. I've already read the first chapter of this so many times trying to get into it, and then I end up putting it down for something else. So hopefully this month I will be able to prioritize it and give it the attention it deserves, because she is a very critically acclaimed author. Then finally, speaking of critically acclaimed authors, I have here The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. This book is probably the most classic of all these books that I own. This book is about an 11-year-old from Ohio in the 1940s who is black, but she is becoming more and more obsessed as she ages and gets into her puberty with the idea that girls with blue eyes, she wants to be like them because she knows that that's what society deems as the most beautiful. So she's really fixated on not wanting to look the way she was born because she envies girls with blue eyes and she doesn't really accept the fact that she's black. I've heard it's dark, but it's also one of the most important books out there on some of the thoughts that black girls have when growing up about their appearance versus what society deems as beautiful. It sounds heartbreaking, but at the same time eye-opening. And once again, Toni Morrison has so many books out. She is so popular, so I hope that this first book of hers will kickstart a new love for her and I'll be able to read more. So those are all the books that I plan, hopefully, to read in, I almost said November. What? It's February. If you have read any of these books, definitely let me know. If you want to see me review any of them specifically, also let me know. I will be happy to do that for you all. Hope you're all having a wonderful life. Goodbye!